Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Live here, and today I am not alone. I am so often, as I so often am, joined by Mr. Xeon.
Excuse me, I only respond to Zan now.
I'm also joined by Mr. Gion.
Boy, I hate spending money, but I love playing games. I wish there was some kind of game for me.
Well, John, it's your lucky day. Yes, today we're going to be discussing a game that is ludicrously cheap. It is 99 cents on the Nintendo eShop. Yep, it's a whole cent less than $1. And it's like 89p or something in the UK. I can't remember exactly, but it's less than 99p, which is marvelous. And you might be thinking, well, there's so many games out there that are that cheap and they're all terrible. This one is actually surprisingly, you know what, it's actually pretty good, and that's why we're talking about it. It is, of course, Toree 3D.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. There's a lot of games around this price point, and many of them I feel like just aren't worth my time. Like, the money is kind of irrelevant when it's that cheap. But this game, I would have paid more. I enjoyed my time with this.
Well, why don't we start off by just at least explaining? I mean, people will be able to see the game. This is the magic of video. But basically, the game, it's a 3D platformer. It's a fairly basic 3D platformer, and it's linear. I don't think that's unfair to call it linear, would you? I mean, certainly not open world.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You go from platform to platform. Every now and then it opens up, but it's still pretty linear, yeah.
Yeah, you can pick and choose the levels to play in any order that you want, for the most part, it seems. But yeah, the levels themselves are, they're pretty straightforward.
I feel like there might be room for exploitation as well in some areas. I think you can jump off an edge and make it to a later portion of the level, and I love that kind of stuff. I haven't really tried to experiment that much myself, but the possibilities seem there.
Yeah, you bring up a good point with that too. Is that so? The game is fairly short. You can beat it in.
It's very short. Let's.
I beat it in 22 minutes.
Wow. I think it took me about an hour, but I was trying to collect all of the stars, which are the collectibles in the game. But it's the kind of game that, sure, it's it can only take you 22 minutes apparently to beat, but you might have fun going back and playing it again and trying to beat a level quicker. And for 99 cents, that's impressive. It's just so surprising that they made such a fun game and are selling it so cheap. But
well, there's some interesting history to the game as well, because although it just looks like maybe it was a mobile game at some point. No, this was actually released, you know what? I'm gonna check the name of the person. Okay, I found out the information. Basically, it was created by a guy called Marcus Horn, and he created this game as part of this demo disc. I say demo disc, it was just downloadable, called Haunted PS1, and this was one of the games on it. And there are some, like, random creepy things that happen on it, but yeah, it's just kind of like this sort of selection of games, and this is one of them. It's 99p, it's stupidly cheap, and it's just good fun, and I think that's kind of, it's kind of just a nice thing to come about and to have on the Switch.
I loved going in unprepared. I had no idea about any horror elements, and it never gets too heavy, but when it happens, it's just kind of like, I remember in one of the snow levels, there are these snowballs just lying around.
Oh god,
and
yeah.
It made me jump, because they have teeth, and they go, raw, and I was not ready for that.
It's the sort of thing that genuinely would have scared me, like, quite substantially as a child, and still, like, it still caught me off guard.
Yeah, I didn't, so at the beginning of the first level, when you start out, did either of you notice the Grim Reaper with the ice cream? Because I somehow didn't.
I didn't the first time.
Yeah, same. I started back up the first level again and saw it and was like, is this new? Is that? So I went on YouTube and I looked up a Let's Play of someone to see if that really happened, and it looks like it was their first playthrough as well. So yeah, when the later on the Grim Reaper comes back a few times, and if anyone's planning on playing this that watches the video, which you probably should, for $1, I feel like this is, I mean, we could talk about this more, but I feel like this is the best way I've spent $1 in a long time. Yeah, when the Grim Reaper came around a few times, it really caught me off guard too, especially in the snow level too, John. I think I legitimately jumped in my seat or audibly gasped. There's some good moments in this game.
There was a very subtle one where I was going through one of the levels, and there are those stars in the background, like Mario Kart 64 looking stars.
Oh no!
and one of them just starts approaching you, and I stopped in my tracks, and I was just like, is that thing actually coming closer? Yeah. So I was turning the camera around, trying to like adjust to the depth, and yeah, it was coming closer and closer and closer, and eventually it just kind of consumes you. I was not ready for this at all. It just kind of sets you back to the last checkpoint, but it was so cool and minor, and if you kept running, you would never have been caught by that.
That's really cool. I didn't, and it's nice to be able to talk about things like this, because I don't know whether you guys noticed, but in the first snow level, there's like these slopes that go down, and on like the penultimate slope, there's like this thing that slowly fades in as you get closer to it, and it's basically this big gaping maw. Did you guys see that?
It ate me.
Oh, it ate you?
Yeah, or maybe I walked close enough and I just died. I'm not sure, but I think it ate me. Are you talking about like, so you go down the slopes and it's at like one of the corners?
Yeah.
Okay.
I unfortunately kind of missed the surprise, because I was jumping over the corners in order to gain a little bit of extra time.
Oh no, sure.
And so I jumped over this corner, and then just out of the corner of my eye I saw, that was some sort of big mouth or something back there.
Yeah. So I was like sliding down the slope just like willy-nilly, just chilling, enjoying my time, and enjoying this cute little game, as you do, because you're playing as like a little bird or something. And then I saw it and I stopped. Kind of like with the stars, I kind of like stopped and let those get closer to me, but I never let them consume me because I think I was too scared. But I kept walking closer to that giant thing, and I don't remember if it snapped down on me or what, but I died.
I love that there's this much to talk about, because usually when a game is this cheap, you expect a very generic platformer, like an Alex Kidd looking thing where you collect coins and just jump over Gumbury looking things, but this is actually quite a unique one. Like, even outside of these supernatural elements, it's kind of Sonic-y in its control. Like, it's a pretty fast-paced platformer, and the controls, like, they're quite similar to Lost World in like, there's a rung button that you hold down pretty much the entire time. It's even the same button as Lost World. But I still think, like, even outside of all these elements, it's just, at its core, it's just a pretty fun platformer.
And I think that's the real sort of crux of it, is that, yes, it's a cheap game and everything, but it's fun. The game feel, for lack of a better term, is really quite good. It's quite substantial. It's by no means perfect, and there are things that could be improved. But I had some genuine fun with it. I wouldn't have minded that, actually, if it was a bit faster. I kept wanting to go faster, and on no level was that any more apparent than the one that's like, it ends on like aircraft carriers, which is like so Sonic Adventure 2. It's unreal.
Oh yeah,
it was.
Yeah, that was definitely the harbor level there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. There's one level I didn't like so much, which is the one where you have those platforms that you jump on, and then you have to wait for them to move. Mm-hmm. I feel like that mechanic popped up a few times, and it's one of the weaker ones, because the game's at its best when you're moving around, like when you're trying to get off those conveyor belts, or something like that. But when you have to stop and wait for the game to sort of carry on, it sort of loses some of its charm.
I was going to replay the original level, and then I remembered that there's those boxes that you have to jump on, and you have to wait for them to kind of carry you around, and you collect some stars. I just remember, I just realized, like, I don't want to replay this right now. And this was immediately after I'd beaten the game, so, I'll go back and play it again now, probably. And enjoy it. But yeah, in the moment, I specifically thought about those waiting moments, and that level with the trucks too. Yeah, where you have to kind of wait for them to kind of move around to jump onto. It wasn't frustrating, but it was kind of just like, it just pulls you a little bit out of the action.
It upsets the flow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I do want to see speedruns of this game though, because I think that could be fascinating.
Oh,
it seems like there's a lot of points you can exploit. And even with the physics as well, like when you're on a conveyor belt and you jump, your momentum carries with you. And I don't think that happens with all materials, but it looks like the conveyor belts do. So I'm really interested in seeing what people do with this game. And I also feel like the length isn't an issue at all. Like, there's lots of games back in the NES era that you could beat this fast, and I still replay those games. Like Super Mario Bros. 1, you can beat way quicker than 22 minutes, but it's still fun to revisit over and over again, and I kind of feel like this is in the vein of that.
Yeah, it's very much an old school platformer at its core, and it's based on like PlayStation 1 platformers, and it takes some creative liberties, but Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind some more levels or even a sequel which had maybe a few more levels than this one, but even just as it is, I really like it, and just talking about it now, I want to go back and maybe just play like a level or two. It's got that kind of replayability that is so sort of retro, and you don't really get so much these days, so it's quite refreshing.
Yeah, did the art style remind you guys a little bit of like the DS at all? Or like anything else in particular? Like, because it kind of just had that, like, I don't want to say lo-fi, but it reminded
sort of
me
low poly.
Yeah, yes, thank you. That's it. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like something that only the DS could go for, or maybe even maybe PS1, I guess, as well. Since, because is that what you said it came from? Was like a fake PS1 demo disc that was released online? Was the idea or something?
Yeah, I haven't looked into it in any great length or downloaded it myself, but yeah, it was kind of like a compilation of different games that appeared to be normal games but had horror elements.
Okay, that's so cool.
It doesn't perform like a PS1 game, though. It's silky smooth the entire time.
That's true.
I did actually encounter some frame drops on occasion, but they were super minor.
Were you playing in handheld too, or docked, or?
Docked, yeah.
Okay, cool. Same here. I mean, I imagine this game wouldn't be the the kind of game that would have big differences between the two, but I was like, oh, maybe.
But I don't know, there's just something, and it seems to have captured people's attention as well, and, you know, not just like the likes of us and things like that. Lots of people on Twitter are just like, hey, no, you know what? For $1, this is a damn fine game, and I have to agree.
I don't often agree with the sentiment of like, oh, this game is worth buying because it's cheap, because time is more valuable than that to me. Like, when you look at all these eShop games and they're all super cheap, it's like, well, do I actually want to, would I rather spend my time elsewhere? Like, is this game actually worth the time? And this one absolutely is.
It is. Especially when, so like last night I was updating my PS3 with, I was putting all of my discs in it to make sure that I have all the updates for it. And I know PSN is not going down anymore, I know, but I just wanted to have it all just because. And for some reason, I had the bright idea of popping Sonic 06 in my PS3, because I haven't actually played it since I was, I don't know, like 12 or 13 or something maybe, and I played it with my mom, and we couldn't get anywhere. And I was like, I want to give this game just a chance again, just try it out quick, just for a half an hour. And it's so bad. It's way worse than I like remembered even. It's like somebody took Sonic Adventure and put tracing, like high quality tracing paper on top, and then tried tracing it with like a broken pencil. And you look at like Toree 3D is such just a fun game, and it's not trying to do anything incredibly innovative or just out there, but for only $1 even as well. Like it I feel like McDonald's right now, like trying to like sell you like a larger soft drink or something, because
Other fast food outlets are available.
Yes, but it just really kind of put it in perspective of like how much more I enjoyed Toree than this. You know, this game retailed for $60. We could compare this to Balan in that same case as well.
I was trying to avoid mentioning Balan, but you've done it for me.
I was gonna say, were you gonna bring it up? Because I mean, it's
probably.
It begs a question though, doesn't it? Would you rather spend $60 on a game, even not considering the quality of Balan? Would you rather spend $60 on a game that has a lot of levels, but stretches its ideas thin, or a game that is super short and just does everything it can in that time?
Right, because you could definitely get a lot more time out of Balan potentially. And I mean, I haven't played the game. I'm not trying to trash on the game more, but I feel like it's such a good comparison.
It's just so easy.
Well, it is sort of easy. But you know, like Toree, it's cheap, and it just feels good. Like you guys were both saying, it just feels good to play, to run around in, to try to collect the stars. You know, there's only those few moments where the game slows down, or kind of comes to a halt where you have to wait for something to happen to progress further. But otherwise, it's just so fun. And I don't know, I feel like you can't speak higher praises than that.
I think another thing that this ties to more is the gold points system on the eShop, because I've seen people say, people have been saying things about, like My Nintendo as opposed to whatever the old Club Nintendo and things like that, and saying, oh, it's not as good, and but the gold point system, I got this game for free, and it wasn't even like, oh, do I want to spend my gold points on this? It was like, am I going to spend 99 gold points? Because I'm pretty sure I got it on my American account. And it was like, yeah, 99 gold coins. I'm not going to worry about, that again. Yes,
Sure.
in theory, it's currency in a way. But I got this game, not even in essence, I got this game completely for free.
Well, Alex, now we can title this video "This Completely Free Game on the Nintendo Switch."
Free to play, baby. You bring up a great point, though. The gold point system is very underrated. On Wii U, we had something similar, I think in the first 2 years only, where when you...
And only if you bought a black Switch to Wii U.
Oh, right, that's just part of the premium offer, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And I think
Yeah.
you got, was it 10% back on every digital purchase?
Something like that.
That's neat. That's great. And people loved that at the time. And they were kind of furious when that went away. But the gold point system, is, in essence, is that. It's just that again. But it doesn't get the same love.
It is a nice incentive, just for any. I mean, because if you're going to be buying the game already, yeah, it's nice to have it, and especially in a case like this, yeah, getting the game for free, that's even better.
It's the perfect game for this.
I honestly don't think there's... I mean, I would argue that there are games that are arguably better value on the Switch. Things like... I'm always talking about Hollow Knight and how it's great value, because you can get that thing for like 11 or 12 pounds, and it's, if you want it to be, it can very easily be like a 70 to 100 hour game, which is ridiculous. And it's not even like it stretches things out. It is very high quality from start to finish. So I think that's like the best value. But just for a quick, I mean, my time is not like super precious, but I do find myself running out of time at times and like not being able to play as many games as I'd like. So something like this was ideal. I could pick it up, enjoy it, put it down, and in theory, I could never play it again, and I got everything I could out of the game. That is so rare. That is such a treat.
It's a brilliant buffer game too, just to kind of cleanse your palate. Let's say you've just finished Octopath Traveler or something, and you're setting up for another RPG. You're going to play Dragon Quest. Well, if you just want something to just kind of, break up that genre, play this. It's super quick, and then you're ready for another RPG.
Yeah, and even though we talked about how this game is pretty short, there are still things or reason to go back. There's you get ranked on each level as well. You can get a different letter grade. I'm assuming it's based on how fast you complete the level, but I
think so, yeah. I only ever got 1A rank, everything else was C.
Nice.
I've got
Cs.
1A rank.
I think I spent too much time trying to collect the stars, but so that's exactly the thing. My first playthrough, I still have 2 levels that I have to collect some of the stars in, but I want to go back and get those, and it'd be fun now to go back and try and actually get higher rankings on the levels. And I noticed too, I just booted the game up 5 or 10 minutes ago. There's different characters you can play as.
Yeah.
How do you get those?
I assume getting all the stars is one of them.
Okay.
Because I just unlocked it from completing the final level, and I'm the type of person that goes through a level and has to get all the collectibles the first time. So I did all, because it's 9 levels, isn't it, in the game, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9, yeah. And I completed all 9 levels, and it's like, you unlocked Macbat.
Okay.
And it's a reference to another game, and you get infinite jumps. I don't think you get graded for completing it, though. And you can kind of just go out of bounds as much as you like.
Yeah.
Which is great fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
She says it must be rolling in his grave.
I don't know about you guys too, but this seems like the game, the kind of game that would have something tucked away, maybe in the back of a level or something too, with all of the creepy aspect, that the game is already pushing forward as well. So that, I don't know, maybe that infinite jump would allow you to get somewhere that you're not supposed to be, but that you're guided towards. I don't know. It's cool to see that there's so much packed into this game, all just for $1.
Yeah, we're speculating about the depth of a 99-cent game. That's really cool.
It seems like the team that made this seems like they put a lot of love into it, and I'm excited. I saw at the end of the credits as well, they mentioned can't wait for you to play our next game or something like that, and I got genuinely excited about that, because if they make another short game or if they make something longer, whatever, the bones of this game is so solid that I'll if the next game, dare I say, if the next game's $2, I'll buy it.
The credits were really charming too, because it's just a few people that made it, and they credit like the font team, which I thought was cute.
The music too. There were a ton of different artists, I think, that made music on this game. I think the music was so good too. There were some times where I felt
it's a good soundtrack.
Yeah, I think it was that harbor level. I think maybe the music is what made it feel even more like a Sonic game to me.
Yeah, it really did.
I don't think T-Lopes worked on it, but a lot of the tracks sound very in the vein of T-Lopes.
Oh, sure. That's who did Sonic Mania, right?
Yeah.
Did either of you notice, too, how when you start Windy Ocean, I'm looking at the menu screen now, that's the harbor level, that you can see the ship like off in the distance, and when I started that I was like, oh, I want to be there, but the whole time you're running in the opposite direction and jumping and stuff, and then finally, like right towards the tail end, it just shoots you over there, and I found that so rewarding for some reason, that like you were able to see it at the beginning of the level, but you weren't actually able to access it, and then finally you could see these ships up close, and I don't know, that I think that was one of my favorite.
I didn't notice that, but that sounds so cool.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either.
Yeah, when you're standing there, you can kind of like, I think if you just turn the camera, you can see it off in the distance, and it was just a thought that I had while I was playing it, like I want to be on the ship. And then I was. It was really nice.
That is one thing I do want to mention though, the camera. The camera, the Y-axis is always inverted, and you can't change it. And that is, it's a minor thing, but it is genuinely very annoying.
Yeah.
Like I just want to be able to just look around as I expect, and I can't, and it just irks me. Also, B is confirm and Y is go back.
Oh yeah.
It would have benefited from some kind of auto camera. Like, I like that you'll be able to move it freely whenever you want to, but there's certain points where if you're not in the right angle, it's very hard to perceive exactly where you are in relation to a platform.
But hell, it's 99 cents.
Yeah, I don't want to criticize it too much.
If you tap the ZL button, you can reset the camera, which I didn't realize until
That's
like
true.
halfway through my playtime though, which that came in handy a lot. But I noticed on the final level that when I was like running down a ramp or something, that I was doing that. I was using that targeting system sort of, or the camera reset, but it didn't work as well, because I think I was like slightly, I was moving my character like so fast, like left and right sort of, to kind of keep my position, and it was quick, like throwing my camera in directions that I didn't want to be looking, and it was kind of throwing me off. So it's not perfect, but that did help in some sticky situations that don't involve Sticky Bear.
Sticky Bear. Well, I can't believe we've talked for nearly half an hour about a game. You could complete this game in the time we've been talking. Maybe you should give that as a challenge to yourself. Rewatch the video, or at least have it on in the background and try and complete it before we finish talking. I think that'd be a great little challenge.
I love that. Yeah.
I've not had more fun with a 3D Sonic in 5 years.
Yeah.
I think that's true in earnest. I definitely had more fun with this than I did Forces.
Oh god, yeah. My god.
That's the really cool thing about this game too, is that, we talked about it for a half an hour, and I still feel like there's things to talk about, and I just woke up, so like, and I played the game yesterday, so I should have wrote things down, but in the moment I had all these things I wanted to talk about, and that's, I think that's the coolest bit about it, is that there's just so much to talk about this little game.
This little bitty baby game. But yeah, if you want to learn any more, we'll have some links in the description. I can't recommend it enough. 99 cents, and it's a good little time. So if you like the look of it, I really do recommend it. Do you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah! Sonic's the name and Speed's my game, and I love Toree 3D. Stay cool, kids.
That's exactly what I wanted. But yes, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you buy that subscribe button for an absolute steal, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
I'm 99 cents, John. I'm like regular John, but smaller.
Hi, I would like to purchase your entire stock of 99-cent Johns.
Here you are, sir.
Thank you.
We're in short supply, though.
I'm gonna check the name of the person.
Alex is checking on who did the game, or when it came out, or when it released on a different system or somewhere else. We don't know, but he's gonna tell us, and we're gonna find out soon.
I still can't see the name.
He's still checking to find out the name of the game or whatever. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. It's just happening.
I'm sad this bit's going to get cut because that's a pretty good rhythm you've got going there.
It's going at the end of the video.
I think I stole that rhythm from somewhere. The dun 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 dun.
That's okay. We're not releasing a single of it, so it's okay.